our society, it's just the median has moved to the much more like uh, yeah, the median has moved like quite a bit in terms of like what is like normal and safe for for young people to experience. And part of that is that we, to a large extent, we do live in like a culture of fear. If you turn on the news, it's going to be 99, terrifying stories, for every, story of delight. Um, but I think the way that you described, yeah, the fact that like, yeah, it's the parents are thinking like, how can we, maximize like my kids' happiness and growth and minimize suffering. Um, it always makes me think of the poem of Joy and Sorrow by Khalil Gibran. I don't know if
I
you're
don't
familiar with
know
the
that one.
prophet. I'm going to read like two lines that like
Please
changed my
do.
life. I like early 20s, I read this. Yeah, it's your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self same well from which your laughter rises was also oftentimes filled with your tears. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine, the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven. So basically, this idea that students
I had
they need
goosebumps.
to, yeah, like the happiness doesn't feel happy unless there's a spectrum that you've experienced. I mean, sometimes it takes like traveling to other places to come back and just have like my mind blown on how fortunate I am to live there. And so students are sort of like young people are being robbed of experiencing like the totality of life in some ways. And it's something that when I think about program design, and programs are like our programs are supposed to be challenging. Like they're definitely like really fun, but there's a lot of type two fun in there. Like the real joy and the real fun comes from navigating things that are challenging. It can be like a big hike. It can be disagreements and conflict in the group. Where you need to find consensus, like that those are where like the real moments of like deep joy and deep appreciation spring from. And my sense is that young people aren't having access to that, and if they are, they're not. They don't have any support in navigating those from mentors that they trust. Teachers aren't playing that role. Young people are probably a little bit less likely to talk to their parents about, you know, um, friendship and relationship challenges that they're experiencing. But in a really safe group container setting with really skilled facilitators, there's space for those things to come out and feel supported.
Hmm. And those senses of accomplishment too, like, hey, I did this. I navigated this challenge, was it whether it was interpersonal or physical, or even navigating complex emotions that can be overwhelming. That confidence, that's where it comes from, is overcoming those things and being able to do that. So when parents come to me and say my kid is not confident, they need a confidence boost, like then they need to do some hard things. They need to get out there and they need to get out of their comfort zone, step into that challenge zone, and that's where the growth happens. And I think that I just did a podcast on how fear is ruining your kid's life, because they have this internalized sense of fear of failure and rejection, that they are paralyzed in taking action. And so, as a parent and as a young person, getting to that stage where they are comfortable to take action, to sign up for a program, to book a plane ticket, to take that first step, takes a lot of courage and a lot of support. But once that first step has happened, once you are sitting on that plane, you may feel a little overwhelmed in the moment, but the second that you realize what you have done, it just opens up a whole new layer to that individual and opens up potential of themselves in the world. And like, I want to hop on a plane right now. Like, I'm giving myself a pep talk here. Like, sign me up. But I
Like
think that,
podcast over, I'm out of here.
yeah, see ya. But I think that is one of the biggest gifts we can give our young person right now, is the encouragement to get out of the comfort zone and not let the fear be the driver of every decision that's made.
Like I think so much about like especially in terms of like what's humans, but especially like students are feeling. Like we have this we have All right, so like start this over a little bit. Like I love swimming in really cold water, which a lot of people think is weird, but I love it because it's super intense and it's this really interesting way to be like, I'm experiencing these super intense sensations, and like my brain is trying to say it's intense and it's bad versus it's just like intense and I'm feeling a lot. And I think it's that, I think in our society, like there's so much that's like pointed at like, it's like everyone should be feeling like happy. And if you're not feeling happy, if you're anywhere else on the circle, even if you're just like on the edge of the circle, it's not like a good thing. And when I hear you talking about like jumping on that flight or signing up for a program, it's that feeling of being at the edge of the diving before, the edge of the diving
Yeah.
board, and those butterflies, like it feels scary and like you're about to step into the unknown, but you also feel the most alive. And my hope for every high schooler is that they get to feel that sense of being alive, like those butterflies, to experience presence. I think for young people that like they're trained at such an early age to be, to always be future thinking. And I think that the demands that we put on high schoolers in North America, where you might have 7 academic classes in a day, and then sports, and then all your activities, and then homework in 7 classes after that. Like the students aren't able to just be present in the moment. There's so much doing and very little being. And I think it's so important for young people to have that space to actually exist in the moment, to feel what they're feeling, and to just have a deeper connection to the world that around them.
Yeah, I am 100% on the same page. And space to breathe instead of just being on
Oh,
this treadmill of go, 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 go. And I think as adults too, we are also often on that treadmill, and we've created this busyness badge of honor that is detrimental to us. And then we pass that on to our kids as well of well, you need to be thinking about the future, you need to be thinking about the job that's going to make the most money, you need to, and these kids just need some space to breathe, and they need some space to be asked the questions that they haven't been asked. Who are you? What is important to you? What are your values?
mm,
Because so many people end up with mental health challenges because they're living a life that doesn't align with their values. And they don't even know what their values are. They just know they're unhappy. They know that what they're doing feels wrong to them. And this isn't like, I am going to get a job killing puppies and it's against my values. This is, I am working an office job and I don't know why, but it feels crappy to me. And so many of these times it comes up against a value that that person holds that they don't know that they have. And without the time and space, and unfortunately, right now, somebody asking those questions, somebody driving that reflection because they haven't been scaffolded with that skill set, they
hmm
need somebody to step in and ask those questions so that they know who they are and they can make decisions for their life that align with who they are, not with what their highest grades are, not with what's going to make them the most money, but something that's going to lead a fulfilling life for them. And as
hmm
parents, you want them to be happy, healthy, successful. If you're only pushing successful, those other two are going to fall right off the map. And so having that time to do that introspection and to define who you are, and especially after high school, this is a pivotal point, as you were saying, when they are establishing who they are outside of that family unit. This is the time to have those conversations, and they shouldn't be necessarily happening with mom and dad, because sometimes their values, who they are, is going to be slightly different or vastly different than the family values. And so having a safe space to explore their identity is so critical at this time.